Cigar rotation. When you smoke cigars for a while, you get to hear some terms that are thrown around a lot, and sometimes there are people just too cool for school to explain these terms to you. And I want to kind of clarify some of that, and today I want to focus on something that I talk about a lot, that was talked a lot about at the shop and probably needs some clarification, and that is cigar rotation. Let's jump into it. My name is Eric, and you are watching Oak Glen Tobacconist. If you're interested in the very special cigar I'm going to talk about today, or many other blends in the boutique world, craft side of cigars, make certain you follow us on social media, whether that's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, the whole 9 yards. We're newly on Rumble. As well, the most important, join our email list. That's where we drop like our best deals. We kind of do like first come in terms of some of the orders we get. So check it out. Join our email list. Please do not forget to like, to comment, subscribe. Make certain you hit the bell so that you are alerted every time we produce new content. Cigar rotation. What does it mean? There are several different definitions I've actually heard of cigar rotation, but I guess it really depends on like what's the context we're talking about. Originally, there is like rotation of the humidor, which means that if you have, let's say, a 100-count humidor or 200-count humidor, and you are having your cigars rest comfortably in their cedar beds so that they might be able to age at the best possible climate, it is a good idea every so, month or so to rotate their positioning. This can discourage things like mold and tobacco beetles and all that. But humidor rotation is not exactly what I want to talk about. I want to talk about cigar rotation. This may seem crazy. This may seem normal. And I would love to know your thoughts on this. I need you to put this in the comments because I would love to know, where are you at? In the smoking journey, there are a lot of people that smoke cigars every day. And there's a lot of people that smoke about 2 or 3 a day. Then there's some that smoke once a week, only on the weekends, and yada, yada, yada. Where are you at on that? I would love to know. Drop it down in the comments. But that is where you get into cigar rotation. So in the 365 days of the year, you have some really favorite core company products that you enjoy that you want to stock your humidor with, so that when you go to your humidor and you check out your personal collection, you have that favorite cigar ready to go. And then in that 365 days, you have a lot of limited releases. And if you watch this channel, if you follow us, or if you're on our email list, you see a lot of the limited cigars that come through. Even our society drops are limited. So that kind of changes things throughout the year. What you end up developing, if you do enjoy a cigar on more than just the rare occasion, you have sort of what is in your cigar rotation for the week. So you have your ones, your old reliables that you always go back to. I have those personally, but I will also say that those change throughout time. Now, we are in one of the most fortunate times in terms of cigars because it is a great time to be a cigar smoker. There are so many quality blends out there, quality companies producing some really killer stuff on the regular. And if you were to rewind the clock like early 90s during the cigar boom, you were kind of walking in like a landmine, like a landfield. Like maybe this will smoke, maybe the wrapper will crack, I don't know. And so you had some respected names come out of that time, like La Flor Dominicana, like Rocky Patel, like Fuente. These are bigger names now that people recognize that kind of came out of that movement. But I say this because you have so many different options. And I personally like a lot of options. I don't just have one type of bourbon I enjoy. I like to go try a bunch of different stuff. I don't like just one single origin coffee. I like multiple single origin coffees. So this really translates into cigars as well. And I think we're currently in that realm. Like most people prefer the options. That's why it's so important. Companies like Steve Saka's Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, Foundation, Crown Heads, Domain, Stallone Cigars, Black Label Trading Company, the list can go on. This is why it's so important that these brands have such a lock on their quality control for the core lines. And I have ones in my rotations. Now, I don't know if I necessarily always have just one cigar. Like there's always one cigar that I always want in my humidor, and I've always been that way. But I like to have certain brands in my rotation. And then you get those limited one-offs. You're like, okay, maybe once a month or once every other week, I will indulge. I will try this because it's so, so good. One of those cigars Now, it started off as a limited release, and it is now in the core line, and it is now in my normal rotation. And I am not lying. When I get on a kick on certain cigars, like I will get a box for myself and go through that box. I'm talking about none other than my new, and it's not even a new cigar, but it's like new to the shop. New favorite from Crowned Heads, the repackaged, rebranded, same blend, La Imperiosa. First off, hats off to John Huber, the team at Las Calaveras. Their repackaging is awesome. You may or may not know, this Ecuadorian Habano, and it's basically technically classified as a Maduro. Some of them seem a bit lighter than others, but I would say it's basically a Maduro. This was not always the La Imperiosa. It started off as the original Las Calaveras 2014. I've talked a lot about this in blogs. I've talked a lot about it on Reels. I want to kind of jump into this and why something like this is significant, especially when it comes to Crowned Head cigars. This had such a cult following. In fact, Half Wheel rated a 94 when it first released, and it kicked off the tradition of Las Calaveras. Now we fast forward the clocks to La Imperiosa. It had gone from a limited release to a core line product because of the demand there of people wanting it in their rotation throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout maybe even daily. They want to be able to enjoy this on the regular and have it in the rotation. So maybe they have this cigar, then something different, something different, something different. Then this again is rotating through. And with limiteds, as we all know, that's very difficult to do. The demand was super high to have this in cigar rotation, and thus it was released as La Imperiosa. Now, what's interesting, I find, is that packaging is everything. There's a lot of people out there that will find new packaging on an original blend, and they're like, this is a new cigar. It's not. It's the original blend, just like the Las Calaveras, just different label. And it is killer. This is currently in my rotation. But what's important to note about cigar rotation is your palate. You know your palate. How do you get to know your palate? Because you can't be wrong when it comes to your palate. It is said often on our podcast, it is said often on some of our videos that your palate will change. It will go through changes, which I personally like. During the seasons, maybe if it's colder, I like something heavier, stronger, darker. If it's maybe really hot, really, like when we were in California and you were in 100 plus degrees, maybe you don't want something so heavy as well. That fluctuates throughout the year. Your palate will change, but also over time. There are a lot of cigars that I used to stock my personal humidor before getting into the industry. That's just not really my thing anymore. That doesn't mean the cigar is bad. Doesn't mean the cigar is no good. It just means that it's no longer in my wheelhouse. It's no longer something that I would go to. It's no longer in my rotation. Your palate will know what and you do and you don't want, and just get to know your palate. For La Imperiosa, I say it's basically classified as a Maduro. It smokes more in that medium, maybe medium plus range. It's got so many sweetness, caramel, toasted nuttiness, peppery spice going on, toasted breadiness. It's a really good cigar with coffee, and I've been on the La Imperiosa train these last couple of weeks. And this, of course, is rotating throughout some of the samples we're trying. This is, of course, also some of the blends like Heavy Hitter, which I've also been really, really on that train. So it's important to note that during the time of the day, your palate may change, the seasons may change, but also over time, you're just going to enjoy different cigars than maybe not enjoy ones you used to. It's important to note that, and again, you're not wrong for changing that. It just shows that you're evolving in your tastes. That's why it's so important to understand your palate, to know exactly what you want in your cigar rotation to put around. There's a lot of cigars out there that I definitely think are box worthy, and that is to add to your stock so that you can have it in your rotation. I'd love to know, what do you guys think? What is in your current rotation? What have you enjoyed, and how has your palate changed? As always, thank you for watching. Put it down in the comments. We will see you next time on Oak Glen Tobacconist.